evening and welcome to St James's Park. It's Newcastle against Manchester City. Even the Geordies are well wrapped up, wearing their Christmas presents, the hats and the scarves.
And looking for Beardsley. And Cole. And Andy Cole celebrates the new year in the only way he really does.
His first touches control. He's looking for support. He gets it now. Oh yes! Talk about instant impact. It's to take it beyond Newcastle.
Another present for Manchester City. James Miller for Tevez. It's a second. Manchester City are running riot at St James's Park. De Bruyne. Sterling. Oh, delightfully done. He's another one right now who can do no wrong, Raheem Sterling.
Welcome to our Christmas edition of We're Not Really Here. We hope you've all had a wonderful few days, but hopefully you have left just a little bit of room for a festive fixture, some cracking chat, and a few stocking fillers. Now, I'm going to start you all off with a wonderful stat. You know that I love stats. City have won each of their last 11 Premier League home games against Newcastle, scoring 39 goals and conceding just 7 in return. And it's our longest winning home run against any opponent in top flight history. So that's a nice positive to start you off with tonight. My name is Natalie Pavelek and I am joined tonight for this show by our very own 3 wise men. We have Kyle Walker, Paul Dickov and Shaun Goater. Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Wise. I'm not sure. The wise between two of us might be.
That's the first time I've ever been called that.
Yeah.
I'm bringing frankincense. A lot of sense.
Yeah. You said cracking chat as well. Not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one, Paul.
Was it positive thinking from me tonight, gents? How was your Christmas, Shaun? Tell us, what was your day like? Did you get lots of presents? Were you on the good list?
I was on the good list. I ate and ate and ate, and I'm still full. So, yeah, very good Christmas, a bit of movie, watched Queen's speech and everything. And as you do, a little bit of Zeds. Yeah, a bit of sleep during the day, but yeah, had a lovely day, really good day.
Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without an afternoon nap, that's for sure. How about you, Paul? Did you have a good day?
Yeah, fantastic. Ate too much, drunk too much. Standard Christmas day, really.
It's the best way to do it, and we will be talking a little bit about playing around the Christmas period because, I mean, it is Boxing Day today. These players will have had their Christmas dinners yesterday, but what was it like for you, Shaun? Let's jump straight into it because you must train on Christmas Day if you've got a game on Boxing Day, right?
Yes, and this is the part that the fans don't really see. Fans just see Boxing Day and they probably see, going out shopping, but then they see the games and they're just thinking the players are there. This is the sacrifice that players make. For me, I recall I remember sometimes we used to travel away. I used to room with Gerard and we'd be hearing thumping music, partying music in the hotel room, and you're just thinking, I can't sleep. So everybody's enjoying themselves.
That's because I was rooming next to you.
What is it like, though, having to leave the family around this time, Paul? Because it's a special day for many people, and then you must be looking at the clock going, oh, I've got to get here, I've got to get there. I can't have too much wine or turkey because it's a plane tomorrow.
It is not. I think it affects the family more than it affects you as a player because you don't know any different. From when I signed at Arsenal as a kid all the way through to I retired, you knew you were playing Boxing Day, and that was the tradition. You knew you were in training. Christmas Day, it was a bonus if you were at home, because a lot of the time, you talk about leaving the family to go into training Christmas Day, it's worse when you've got a young family and you've got to travel. So you would sort of train in the morning, come home for a couple of hours, and then you'd be in the coach travelling to who you were going to be playing the next day. But it didn't really affect me, and I think as you get older, the families get used to it as well, because you don't, as I said, you don't know any different.
Do any of the Dickov clan watch this show? Will anybody be watching right now? I'm just wondering if we could, if that's an honest answer, or if we could maybe say...
Well, if you want an honest answer, I'm going to say they don't watch the show.
So, from your point of view, was there any relief when Christmas Day gets a little bit mad and you think, right, you've opened your presents, I'm going to leave you to cook, I'm going to leave you to tidy, and I'm off to work?
If we're being honest, but when the kids are younger and they are babies, and not just on Christmas Day, away trips you're desperate to get away so you can get some sleep at night. You can always tell the players that have just had newborns because they get in the coach and they're like sort of sleep straight away.
Now we're all being honest. Sean, I need you to be honest with us here as well. Did you ever wake up on Boxing Day, you're getting ready to play a game, you look down and you feel your belly and you go, oh, I had one too many turkey and stuffing sandwiches yesterday?
No, sadly I was a good boy when it came to it. But believe me, after the game, we didn't quite have the nutritionist then, so it was one of them. After the game, it was like eat all I could. But yeah, for the most part, you had a little bit, and just making sure you're right for the game.
Any of your teammates, do you ever remember thinking, oh, yeah, you ate a lot yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm going to kill him. He's usually Shawnee there.
No change.
No. I think all joking apart, though, the lads were, I was going to say, they were professional, weren't they? The manager would put your trust in you. I mean, I've had managers sometimes that would give us Christmas Day off. So when you get to that game in Boxing, I'd never used to like it because there's more pressure on you. Because you think if we go out there and we get beat today, the gaffer's going to blame that and he's not training yesterday. But as a rule, as I said, you're that used to doing it year after year that you're sensible and you do want to get the game out of the way Boxing Day so you can relax a little bit. But then, obviously, we used to always play 26, 28, 30th sometimes, and then New Year's Day on the 2nd. So
one of the challenges used to be sort of when the coaches, managers used to say, do you want to train early in the morning or sort of in the afternoon? So players were always, it used to get a mixture, but you always used to be like, yeah, let's do it first thing. And so players like, right, 8 o'clock start sort of thing, get your training sort of done and sort of ready for, the game, etc. So it was different ways and our managers used to use that.
Can you remember the first one after retirement where you woke up Christmas Day, Boxing Day, you thought, oh, this is something that I've played for so long. Boxing Day is a huge tradition, as you said before, Paul. Sean, can you remember that first one where you woke up and you thought, oh, I can actually have some champagne and orange this morning?
Yeah, for me, it was easy because actually when I did finish retired, I went immediately back to Bermuda. And the reason being I couldn't sit and watch players still playing because I love the game and it would have hurt. So when I woke up on that Christmas Day, I was like, turkey, baby!
Oh, man, Christmas in Bermuda. Oh, I bet that's lovely.
It is lovely weather. It's warm. You're normally getting around 73 to 75, and that's cold.
A roasting summer afternoon here.
So, yeah, lovely. Weather's lovely. Just a really good day.
Lovely. We appreciate your honesty. Thank you, gents. Thank you. Right, shall we get some team news? So we have the starting 11 for the game this evening. And back in goal after his little break midweek for the Arsenal game is Ederson. And then in defence, we have Cancelo, Diaz, Stones and Ake. And then in midfield, we have Rodri, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling and Ferran Torres. Yes.
I mean, the big one, Sergio Aguero, is on the bench, but that means we know what we've seen, Paul, with this attacking front three. They can change them up, they can switch them up, the goals are going to come.
Yeah, they will do. I'm confident today we're going to see a lot of goals as well, but I think maybe the right move. I think everybody wants to see Sergio start after his injury, but the games that we've got coming up, I think it's, historically when Sergio has come back from an injury, it's took him a little while to get into his stride, so I would expect him maybe get 20, 30 minutes with all the games I've got coming up, but it's just great to see him back.
And of course, we know that Walker is out after having that positive COVID test, but Cancelo's been incredible when he's played right back and left back this season.
Well, exactly, you're spot on. I mean, Cancelo, when I've watched him, you see him more in the offensive area. So, and not only that, he's really settled down left back. He's also does equally as good a job at right back. So I look forward to seeing him bombing down that right hand side. I normally say he's dicing up a player like sauteed onions or something. He's cutting them this way, cutting them that way. So excited to see him bombing up the wing or fullback and bombing up the line.
Definitely, and then also, Paul, you're looking at this team, you're looking at Nathan Ake in at left back as well, Rodrigo, Ilkay Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne. Coming off the back of, obviously, a positive result against Arsenal. This team, they've had a very, very busy December. We're coming to the end of it, and then we've got a busy January. It's just non-stop for them.
It is, but, you look at the bench, and you look at the bench against Arsenal the other night there, it's so strong. We keep going on about the squad strength that we've got. I think John Stone's got to get a special mention as well. He's been fantastic since he's came back into the team. I think it's eight clean sheets in 10 games that he's played in. So, defensively, we are getting it right. We look a lot more solid. And as you said, with Torres, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and Raheem Sterling coming back in, we'll see a lot of goals tonight.
Yeah, we are in an insane form at the minute. Unbeaten in all competitions in the last 9 games, and in those games we've just conceded 2 goals, Shaun. So we are starting to look really solid at a really important time, because of course we've got this game, and then as Paul said, we've got another game in 2 days, another game a few days after that, and then we've got that big semi-final against United. So we seem to really be hitting form at a lovely time.
Yes, and the one thing you want as a player is not only to be having the form, but you want this around Christmas time, because what you get is game after game after game. So when you're in this sort of form that you are, the players really, it's just about the recovery. They do a little loosen, a little recovery, and it's maybe slightly different tactics for the next game, but these players will be looking for it. I mean, I know he's not starting Mahrez with the goals that he's got. Sterling, the form he'll be looking forward to today's game. I think Bernardo Silva, and because there's a game in, like you say, another two days' time, all these players will be, those who are not starting will be getting minutes and getting time, but we're in such a good form right now. This is the time you'll be really excited as a player.
Yeah, because like you say, you had Mahrez, who played in the Arsenal game, and Foden, who played in the Arsenal game, were both absolutely brilliant. Probably both a little bit disappointed to not be starting today. But, as we say, there's so many games, Paul. Do you think that's purely a rotation thing to keep everybody fit while we're so busy?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. As you said, and a lot of big games coming up as well. We've got the semi-final coming up first week in January. There's been a lot of games in December already, so it's all about keeping players fresh. But I think I said it a lot on here, and Shaun agrees with me. When you're winning games, you don't feel tired. You want the next game to come. You don't necessarily really want to train. The more games that you've got coming up, and if you're confident in winning games, the more games that you want to play in.
Now let's talk a little bit about that quarter-final in the EFL Cup. Manchester City beating Arsenal at 4-1 in that one. It sets up a semi-final against the Reds, against Manchester United. You just knew it was going to happen, didn't you? Brentford and Tottenham is the other semi-final, but City just looked so confident once again, Paul, against Arsenal. It could have been a slip-up. Anyone could have said, well, it's the Cup. It's the Manchester City Cup, as I like to call it. We've won it so much in previous years, and this sets us up nicely for that semi-final. Yeah,
going to be fantastic. I was actually hoping we were going to get United. Because we don't want them getting to any finals. They've not been to any for years, so it's just going to be a fantastic game. I thought the performance the other night there was great. I really did. Dominant all over the pitch against Arsenal, and then conceding the one chance that they had, how we're going to react to that, and then the second half we just blew them away. And talking about Mahrez, I thought Phil Foden was outstanding again the other night there.
Yeah, it was just a brilliant performance, and like Kyle says, in the Manchester City Cup. What did you make of the performance against Arsenal the other night, Shaun?
Yeah, again, City doing what City does. I mean, I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, because I'm looking and thinking tactically what Arteta knows and how Pep approaches games, and City just got better. I was going to say it got bad to worse for Arsenal, but City just got better. They just moved the ball, shifted the ball, players slightly out of position. They just exposed it, and I was like, yeah, this is City. And I think also from Pep's point of view, Pep will be thinking, he's beaten me. I don't want no manager getting a consistent run of games that beat me, because this is what Pep is about in his levels.
He is indeed. And when we're moving forward, looking at today's game, Newcastle, they're currently sat 12th in the Premier League. And for them, we've seen that Steve Bruce, they're a passionate fan base. Let's say that. Let's say that about them and about their manager and about their players. So playing against Manchester City today, Paul, they're going to be a little bit worried because you've got players like Sergio Aguero on the bench.
Oh, they will be worried. And a record against them, as Natalie said at the start of the show, is fantastic, especially here at the Etihad. And they put out a strong team. They didn't make many changes against Brentford midweek, and to lose against a Championship team in a quarter-final, the fan base up there are passionate, and they're not going to be very happy with that. But I'm a big fan of Steve Bruce, not because I do know him personally, but he's done a great job there. I think his record is, they'll talk about Rafa being God up at Newcastle, and his record's actually better than what Rafa's is. So I just think that it because of maybe the reputation that he's got at other clubs, managing Sunderland before as well, that every time that they do have a bad result, he's there to be shot at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think passionate's a word to use for them. I think they moan a lot, don't they? They won't be watching this. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's fans up and down the country. I think you do get fans. Certainly when you're sitting 12th or below, your fans are really going to have a go. So if you go on some social media sites, some Newcastle fans will be having a go. But yeah, again, Bruce, for me, Shelby is an important player because how he tries to make them be creative and produce, chance and opportunity. He's so important for them.
Now, one man we just saw walk past the camera was Callum Wilson. He's only made the bench today. Another man we can see just there, Joe Linton, he is starting up top. So, I mean, they've got a striker on the bench in Callum Wilson, Paul, who can definitely come on and change the game if needed.
Yeah, it's a fantastic striker. His record at Bournemouth was great, forced his way into the England team. I think it's 8 goals in 12 games, I think he's got this season. So he's a goal scorer, and he's got that relationship with Ryan Fraser as well, who's went there from Bournemouth. So slightly surprised to see him on the bench tonight. Maybe he's been ill or had a little niggle or something, but for me, he's the main goal threat.
And you were mentioning before when we were just chatting that you're a bit of a player scout yourself, Paul. You spotted talent in him many years ago. Yeah,
well, when I was Doncaster manager, obviously Callum was in Coventry at the time, and he played against us and was outstanding. So Jerry Taggart, who was my scout at the time, went and watched him a few times, and I thought I was going to be able to sign him. I spoke to Big Elvis, Stephen Presley, their manager. Coventry were struggling financially at the time, but that was as far as it went, because I went to my board and mentioned the name, and they said I couldn't do it because I'd never heard of him. So hence why I'm not a manager anymore.
but you spotted the talent. Had you ever spotted talent in Callum Wilson yourself, Shaun?
My agent and a good friend of mine, he's a Coventry supporter, and he was like, Callum is a striker. Callum is a striker. What do you think, Shaun? I saw him play a couple of times, and I went, nah, I'm not really having him. He's going on to play for England.
He's another one. He was my striking coach at the time as well.
I went to Paul, but I don't know, Paul.
I'm sorry, I set you right up there because I didn't hear you say that before. I love you. I love you. But of course, the confidence up there at the minute is really low. And you mentioned, we've talked about the fans. I always enjoy watching some of the fan channels on YouTube of opposing fans, and the fans are really lacking confidence at the minute. Is that a great opportunity then, do you think, for us tonight, Shaun, to take on a team who've had, beaten by Brentford, drawn with Fulham last week, low in confidence, a chance for us now to take that attacking, and hopefully get a few goals and.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for us. I mean, at the same time, we know that we know what they're going to throw at us in terms of he's going to be solid. He's going to try to stay in the game with Callum Wilson not starting. I think it's a tactical move that Bruce has done to try to perhaps come into the game the last 25 minutes, 30 minutes and go, we're going to try to counter if we can stay in the game that long. I think it's for City now to, go at them. Torres, I like when he's up the middle. I know he's a wide player, but when I see him making runs, his movement, his finishing qualities, I'm really excited about him playing up the middle, and also with Sterling. Sterling is form. So I think it's a great opportunity to go and get a few goals. I said 4, I'm going for 4. Go big or go home.
I like that. We've seen plenty of goals in this fixture before. Manchester City taking on Newcastle. We can see a few of them just here right now. Shaun, you want 4. Judging by all the goals we've scored against them in the past, I mean, have you got any against them?
Yes, I did score against Newcastle, and this was obviously not here, was at their ground, and City fans were stuck up in the clouds.
Yes,
but yes, listen, these are some brilliant goals. Sergio Jesus finishing. This is the quality that we have. The players on the bench, we've got quality. Players that are starting, quality. This is what we got.
Do you want a stat, Shaun? I
Give us a stat. Stat-o.
Yes. Sergio Aguero has scored 15 Premier League goals for City against Newcastle, and that is the most a player has scored for a single team against an opponent in the Premier League's history.
Right, we just saw the lights flash. That's how good that is. That's how good that is. 15 goals against one team. I mean, there's always a team we like to play against, right? And as a striker. So,
Burnley.
I got 1 or 2. Sergio's got about 15 teams. But certainly Newcastle will be that number one team, scoring that many goals. He'll be sat on the bench thinking, you just got to give me 10 minutes. I just need 10 minutes.
I mean, we can see the goals here, Paul, and I feel like at times we know there's no fans there and it's going to change the atmosphere, and there's still no fans here right now. But, I mean, when City are playing against Newcastle, it feels like this is a fixture that the players always are up for. I don't know what it is or why, but Newcastle, they have caused some upsets against Manchester City in the past before, so it feels like there's times where they just want to score lots against them.
There is, and as Shawnee said, as a player, you have your favourite teams or teams that you play against, but as a club in a whole, you know, you have your favourite teams. And Newcastle will be worried, really, really worried coming here tonight. You know, the results that they've had recently going out of the Cup. There he is, the legend, David Silva, fantastic free kick. But there's goals in the game tonight, you know, they'll be nervous defensively, and they're just... we know what they're going to do. They're going to come here, probably set up. They're going to defend really, really deep, everybody behind the ball. And like most games at Man City, I think it's really important that we score early, and I think if we score early tonight...
Now, that goal we just saw there, the David Silva one, that was one where I was actually working on the We're Not Really Here show, and I tweeted saying, I think I've just seen David Silva's final goal at the Etihad. And then, Natalie, I remember you replying saying, oh, I can't believe it. You were working the week after, I think it was, and he scored again, and I wasn't here for that one. I got carried away with myself, and then, no, you actually got to see, I think it was his final goal at the Etihad.
Yes, we've been very, very blessed indeed to be here to watch some of the games tonight, and we'll get to see one tonight, and I did, yes, I did. That was probably my highlight of 2020, you know, and we're going to chat about that a little bit later, but yes, definitely my highlight of 2020. But we're still, Shaun, seeing the goals that we've scored against Newcastle, because like we were saying, there has been quite a lot of them in the past there against Newcastle. You were Burnley. Did you have a team, Paul, that you liked scoring goals against?
I like scoring against everybody. Probably, I shouldn't say this, probably coming back to City and scoring was probably after.
No. You weren't afraid to celebrate as well, was you?
Of course not. But anyway, let's move on.
No, we respect that. We like that.
Exactly. It's the only game, the first game back was the first game ever that I've been cheered on by a set of fans and booed off as I was walking off the pitch as well. You know, as it soon turned around.
Now, this is a great opportunity for us to get another 3 points on the board. Looking at the table, City can climb up. Feel like there's always this worry and hysteria when it comes to any football fans that maybe a not as incredible start to a season as Manchester City have had in recent times. That means that it's all going down the pan and we're not going to win the Premier League. But actually, if you're looking at it right now, City are currently sat in 9th, but if we win today, we could jump all the way up to 4th. So it just shows you how quick and how easy these things can change. And these players here, they're training, they're warming up right now. They know that if they keep on with the trajectory that they're doing, Shaun, they could be right up there at the top of the Premier League.
Yeah, the players know this, and they also know where we sit, because again, you know, this team has won everything, okay? I know some people outside the city will say he ain't won the Champions League, but this team has won everything when it comes to the league. And they'll understand that they're not used to sitting in 9th, 8th, 7th. They're used to sitting up there in the top 2 or 3, knowing that if you're in those top 2 or 3 places, you put together a run of games, you can then catapult yourselves right up there. And City are the only team you can really say could put together 18 games winning. This is what City do. So these players will be aware. I'm excited. The camera's on Torres. This guy really excites me because, again, I think he can finish left foot, right foot. He's got pace. He can play down the middle, also at wide. I'm excited. Always excited when I see him on the team sheet as well.
Absolutely perfect timing, Shaun. You are a pro, because it's like you knew that we were about to have an interview. It is just coming now. Ferran Torres has been chatting, so in a second we will be hearing from him.
Yeah, now if you look at him as a youngster, Paul, he seems to have everything. He's come in, I've talked about it so much, he's taking that number 21 shirt straight off David Silva. He's coming with the confidence, but he's putting up the performances which justify it in a way of that confidence, because he wants to cement himself in this first team, and he's done a lot to do that.
Yeah, well, I know we do in here, but I'm surprised more people aren't talking about him. You know, I think he's a fantastic talent. I loved the fact that he wanted the 21 shirt. Somebody so young, it shows a little bit of it's confidence and a little bit of arrogance, which you need to have to be a top player. We see him score his goals for Spain, and you know, like Shaun said before, it's It might have been difficult for him to play that number 9 because he'd never played that before. But he's come in, he's obviously worked it in the coaching ground, and every time he plays, he has an impact and an effect in the game, whether that's coming off the bench or certainly when he started as a number 9 and the goals that he scored.
Do you think we might be seeing him in the middle, switching with Sterling? Do you think it's going to be a kind of one of those that I always talk about? We have to pay attention to work out where they're all playing. Yeah,
look, you can never call what sort of stuff Pep's going to do, but I think more often than not it'll be Ferran down the middle and obviously Raheem and Bernardo Silva either side of him. But the one thing he has got, which scares the life out of people, is pace. You know, and maybe at times this season we've slightly lacked that as in a centre forward.
And now, perfect timing, everybody. Ferran Torres has made his way to the side of the pitch so that we can hear his thoughts before today's game.
City. Ferran, Manchester City come into this game 9 unbeaten. How significant is that momentum coming into such a busy period?
Porteu no porti sense perdre, com d'important és esta ratxa per al Manchester City? Bueno, el Manchester City siempre lucha por intentar ganar todos los partidos. Tenemos que seguir por este camino porque significa que las cosas las estamos haciendo bien. Manchester City only know how to play to win the games, and we have to keep on doing that because that's the only way we know.
With Gabriel Jesus out of the team, how much responsibility has the manager put on you for tonight and perhaps the next few games?
Amb Gabriel Jesus fora de l'equip, ¿cuánta responsabilidad te fica el entrenador a tu hora para estos partidos? Bueno, el entrenador decide poner 11 jugadores, la responsabilidad es de todos porque bueno, tenemos que defender el escudo de este equipo que es muy grande y por eso tenemos que ir a ganar todos los partidos. We have to fight for the badge, for the crest, so it's down to everyone, not just one player or two.
You've scored 6 goals for Manchester City. This is your 10th Premier League appearance. How happy have you been with your performances and how are you enjoying life in the Premier League and at Manchester City?
Sí, estoy muy feliz por poder ayudar al equipo con los goles que llevo. Espero que puedan ser muchos más y que pueda contar con más partidos, que para mí es un orgullo defender esta camiseta. Yeah, I've been playing very well recently and I count on keep on scoring and playing more because I'm really happy to do that for this year.
Thank you, Ferran. Thank you.
And that was the thoughts of Ferran Torres before today's game. So basically, he's going to take his chance and he likes to score, Paul. That's all we need to hear, isn't it? That's all we need.
Perfect. And he's done, let's say, before the clip, he's done that when he's come in to the team more often than not as a centre forward. You know, when he gets his calmness in front of goal has really impressed me. You know, and a lot of the finishes that he has scored this season, people might think they're slightly easy, but he's got a cool head when he gets in that position.
I mean, when you're looking at the finishes, as you said there, people will say they're easy, but it's the positioning, isn't it, Shaun? Actually being good enough to get into those positions. We've seen it over the years with Raheem Sterling, and Ferran Torres seems to be the player that can also do that. He can get into that 6-yard box, and he can easily place the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, you said it clearly. You've played the game because he knows where to be. That's half the art as a striker, is knowing where to be, knowing where that ball's gonna fall, as in, or take advantage of their space, and knowing the quality that we got. He knows how to occupy a defender in a certain area, knowing what space to expose. That delivery's there, and he finished it. So. Again, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to him. I think he will really push Sterling for top goal scorer at the club. I really do. That's the belief I have in this kid and what I've seen.
We love your positivity. Now we're going to hear the thoughts of our manager, Pep Guardiola.
Pep, Merry Christmas. You had the unfortunate news this week that 4 people had tested positive for COVID, including Kyle Walker and Gabriel Jesus. Just give us a timeline of how that unfolded this week.
Well, unfortunately it happened, but happened all around the world, many cases, so nobody's safe to get it. Unfortunately it happened. Hopefully they recover all 4 well. And prepare the game with the guys like we have.
When did you know that you would be missing those players?
The day afternoon, the day before.
How much has it affected preparations for this evening then?
We are sad for them. Like before with Riyad and Gundogan, but they suffer it, and hopefully can recover without the problems and I come back as soon as possible. But everybody unfortunately can happen.
How much of a concern is it going forward in terms of your options up front, given that Sergio Aguero is still coming back from injury himself?
Well, I said many times. So Sergio come from long time. We believe, and I think he believes it still is not for many minutes. And maybe for the final moments or whatever we can use him. So if he will be fit today, he will be playing for sure, 100%. So, but come from long time and have to take care of his knee, and hopefully for the minutes we'll be ready.
You've got plenty of players that, of course, can score goals, but how much responsibility are you putting on Ferran Torres?
No, everyone's, of course, the strikers, the guys who live close to the goal, they have more chances, but in the same time, it's not just about him. Sometimes the guy who make the movements away to the goal, they are closer to score a goal.
You scored 4 against Arsenal in the week. What can you take from that performance?
Different competitions, nothing to compare.
Thank you, Pep.
Thank you.
And that was the thoughts of Pep Guardiola wearing an absolutely gorgeous jacket, by the way. I absolutely love that coat, Carl. We've been awing over that for weeks.
I've been tweeting about that coat for so long. I've still not got it. Pep still got one. It's very apt, though, because of the sunshine. No, I'm lying. The rain outside is absolutely tipping it down. No snow, even though there was some on Christmas Day. But yes, you can see the rain. It is, yes, it's raining very heavily here in Manchester right now. Pep talking about the options he's got, talking about Ferran Torres, saying very similar things to us as well there, Shaun. He knows he's a goal scorer. The pressure's not on him, even though Jesus is out for a period of time now. We have still got Sergio Aguero on the bench, and come on, we know this, we've talked about it so many times. Goals come from so many different areas when it comes to Manchester City. It's not just attack, it's the midfield as well.
Yes, it is, and I'm intrigued to see Bernardo Silva, because again, he's been giving me his energy levels that we've seen previously or last season. I think we're starting to see that with him. And I think when we see his energy levels, then we start to get the creativity and we get the goals. So I'm really intrigued to see how Bernardo Silva gets on. Also, Kozake is going on that left side. The first time I saw him play on the left side, he looked a little uncomfortable when he was in the final third. So I'm intrigued to see how City play that tactically. But Bernardo Silva, I think, will be part of that creativity and goals, bringing that energy. And as we say, Sterling and Torres. For me, there are goals there. I think what we lacked going back 2-3 weeks when we were keeping clean sheets was Bernardo Silva not chipping in with goals when he has played, or other players other than Sterling, Torres, other than Sterling, Torres and Mahrez. We've needed others. So Gundogan chipping in with the odd goal. And I think this is where we'll start to see those numbers, and either Paul's prediction coming through or mine. Go big or go home. It's either 5 or 4-0. That's what it's about.
I'm going to take either of those right now. I really don't mind at all. We heard Pep talking about Sergio as well there, Paul. He was talking about the fact that he was out for a long time with his knee injury, and that he can play but not many minutes currently. As a normal sort of person, it's hard for me to kind of think about having such a an injury and coming back, because maybe we think, why is he not back already? But as a player, as a professional athlete, is it a case of we just have to be patient? We have to wait for him to be ready and his body to be ready.
Yeah, and everybody's different. Some players can be out for 3 or 4 months, have a couple of weeks training and go straight back into it. I think with Sergio, it does take him a little bit longer, especially the older he's gotten. I'm all for it if it means once we hit the new year and Sergio Aguero's fit from New Year towards the end of the season. I would take him not being properly fit for the next 2 games. It's all about getting minutes into him. He has shown before that you can't say he's a slow starter after his injuries, but it takes him a little while to get into his stride. And one of the biggest things as a player, the hardest thing to do is to tell the manager that you're not 100%. So you've got to admire his honesty. There's plenty of times when we've not been 100% fit and the manager will ask you and you go, yeah, I'm fit, but deep down yourself, and that affects your performance. So Sergio hopefully gets some minutes in tonight, again at Everton, and then, as I said, the last 3-4 months of the season, he's there banging in the goals again. Yeah,
Paul's absolutely right. For me, there's another side as well. Yes, he's probably not 100% from Pep's point of view, but there's the other side in that there's some big games coming up. And those big games, the player that can unlock those defenses is Sergio Aguero. And so Sergio Aguero being fully fit, being able to play 60 minutes can unlock, the big games that we've got coming up. And that's not looking past Newcastle, but that's just saying Sergio Aguero's got that ability to, he just knows where to be, the angles to be, to get those, where the ball falls, to put in the back of the net. And that could be in the back of Pep's mind, let's make sure it's 100% rather than 90%, and we've got somebody to unlock those games.
Especially when the fixtures are going to be so challenging because, as you said, you don't want to look too far past the current game, but in January, we've got Chelsea, then we've got Manchester United in the semi-final of the EFL Cup, and then we're back in cup action in the FA Cup against Birmingham, and then we've got 4 more Premier League fixtures to go just in January. So there's 7 games in total. So, Paul, as Shaun has just said there, you want Sergio Aguero to be 100% because if you're 95%, there's more chance you'll get injured and you'll be out for longer.
Yeah, and I think I've seen that recently. You know, he was out for 4 months. He came back for a couple of games, picked up a little injury again, came back, then was ill, then got a little niggle. So it's not just the games he's been missing; it's the amount of training and the rehabilitation that he'll need to get his fitness levels up. So, and as I said, you know, if Sergio can train for every day now, all the way through the new year with the 7 games I've got coming up, I would much rather take a 100% Sergio Aguero for 7 games in January than in the last couple of games of the year that we've got here now.
Yeah, absolutely. And 7 games in January, and we will be with you at We're Not Really Here for all 7 of those games. And we appreciate, of course, we still can't have fans in the stadium, and so we're so glad that we'll be able to be here with you all. And of course, that is with you all around the world. And we adore you no matter where you are. And of course, the official supporters club of Manchester City has branches around the world, and we like to celebrate those branches. And today you can see a lovely close-up of the plaque, and that plaque is flying off around the world, and it's going to Strasbourg. So a big shout out to the official supporters group of Strasbourg.
Hi, I'm Paul from the RSC France branch. I live in Eastern France near Strasbourg, and I've been supporting City for 8 years now. We started a branch 3 years ago to gather all the City fans across France. We usually meet at the Etihad Stadium or in London or in Paris, as we are scattered out in France, which is a large country. An interesting fact about our branch is that we gather fans from France, but also from Belgium, Luxembourg or Switzerland, which are French-speaking countries. I'm really looking forward to see you all at the Etihad and to be overwhelmed by the atmosphere. I really miss the atmosphere from the Etihad Stadium or from the away fan in another stadium. And back to the studios.
Very nice. We've got some excellent presenters at these official supporters clubs around the world, and Kyle and I were just looking at each other, checking our geography there as well, because our geography is rubbish. But a big shout out to Strasbourg and all of the City fans in France.
I mean, it is incredible to see how big the supporters and the fan base is. It's worldwide. We've had years ago, we went out to Abu Dhabi. We had an interview with one of the branches out there, and it's just incredible to see, and it's incredible that we get to hand these plaques over to them and send them to them, and just to say a special little thank you to them, Shaun, for their support from around the world.
Well, yes, to the Strasbourg fan base, listen, just want to thank you for your support and continue. I continue. Just had to reduce it in my ear. Yeah. And continue doing what you're doing with the great support. We really appreciate it, certainly from all the players and from Pep.
From Pep as well, amazing.
I love that every single time, he always gives a little speech, Shaun, to the official supporters clubs from around the world. I'm sure they appreciate it as well.
They'll be clipping that up and they'll be playing that. Have you been there? Because you've been everywhere at the supporters clubs.
Strasbourg's one of the few places, so well done, guys, and the next time you want that trophy, I'll come over and give it to you once we can start flying again.
I'll come along and make the tea as well. I'll just do absolutely anything there.
Yes, yeah, I'll stay here and hold the fort while these guys travel around the world. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that 2020 for me, one of my highlights personally was, of course, being in the stadium to see David Silva scoring his last ever goal from this club, and very, very blessed to have done that. This week, Manchester City have released 20 images that they say are the best of 2020. And in a minute, we're going to have a little look at them and share some of our thoughts. And I'm going to ask the gents in a minute, give them a little second to think on there about what your highlights have been of 2020. But let's start by having a little look at these, some of the official photographs that have been taken of our highlights. And that, of course, starting off there with Nick Cushing, who, of course, left the women's team earlier in the... Oh, that's a nice one as well, gents.
It is indeed. I'm actually on the Instagram as we speak, looking at some of these. Real Madrid, and then we've got our captain Fernandinho leading out the team for the 7th League Cup triumph right there. I mean, we've seen plenty of the celebrations, but one that I think was very special, Paul, was beating Manchester United EFL Cup semi-final, was it?
Yeah, it was. Obviously, going to Wembley yet again and winning the Carabao Cup final. But for me, not just beating United in the semi-final, that first leg, the performance the first half was one of the most dominant derby performances I've seen. You know, Pep done his magic again. We played with no centre forward. At one point we played with about 5 false nines, and Manchester United just didn't know what to do with it. So that was a great night, and then obviously going on and winning the trophy, fantastic.
And hopefully it's like that again in a couple of weeks. But some incredible images here and there. You've got Sean's favourite Lucy Bronze obviously returning to the club as well, and Kevin picking up one of his many awards that he's had this year.
Ruben Diaz joined us from Benfica, and then we can see here Kevin De Bruyne at the famous Stade Velodrome beating Marseille 3-0. Then it was the women's turn to be crowned FA Cup winners at Wembley, and then a day later we claimed more silverware as the under-18s won the first FA Youth Cup title since 2008. And Pep, well, he stayed with us. He signed his contract extension with the club until 2023, and then we had our men's first team photo like no other we've ever done before, following all of the social distancing rules. What a year it's been. I mean, if you do focus all the way back, one of the images we saw was Pep and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That was our last game before lockdown with fans. It was a 2-0 defeat. We don't want to talk about that one. But back when there was fans there, you never would have thought that in December, Boxing Day, for a game as special as this one right here, Boxing Day is a tradition for thousands of fans up and down the country, that we're not going to have any fans in. It's just been a very weird year, let's say, Paul. Yeah, it has been weird, and it's just nice that we can talk about some of the things that have been highlights for us, you know, and especially in Boxing Day, because we're talking about from a player's point of view, you know, from a fan's point of view, it's a big day, you know, it's a lot of families get together and come to the games on Boxing Day, and it's sad that, well, it's sad there's no fans here anyway, but especially on an occasion like this.
My last game that I attended with fans was the Carabao Cup final, which we of course won, and that is one of my highlights. Sean, can you remember the last game you were at with fans?
Oh, you've done that now. That's a good question.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
That's a tough one. I
never prepped you for that.
You never prepped me for that. No. Because I watch so many games and involved so many games, I can't distinctly remember which game. But in terms of my highlights, see, one, when I look at some of those clips, there are fans. So that in itself is a highlight. You think now we don't have fans. So exactly what you guys are saying there, that, you know, to have fans is exciting. But Pep signing, I think, is also. I'm always throwing more. Yes. I'm always throwing more answers than you require.
No, you keep going.
But Pep, you know, extending his contract, I think it is huge, because there was a lot of talk on, you know, will he stay and will players stay and all that. And in myself, I was always confident that Pep will stay, because I was thinking, where else is bigger and better than City? So I felt confident. But I'm going to go with Lucy Bronze as my all-time best thing for 2020. Again, you're talking about the best female FIFA footballer. I think of Maradona, I think of Messi, I think of Lucy Bronze. Paul's laughing at me because we had a little chat about this all here. But she's the best. And you just can't brush that aside. This, you know, she's best female player. That just blows my mind. And she's here at City, and our old teammate Gareth Taylor is coaching her. And you know, well done to her. Well done to her. Yeah.
Do you have a
kick it off in 15 minutes, Scott?
Have you got a favourite moment of 2020? You take your time, Paul. You do it. You know, we like to hear from you guys.
You got 10 seconds.
You're not going to get. He's only gave me 10 seconds left to say anything. That performance at Old Trafford, and I think, like yourself, the Carabao Cup final was probably the last game I was at with fans. So to see City fans at Wembley winning another trophy again was fantastic. See, there you go.
Precise, perfect in 10 seconds, as you said.
Lucy Bronze.
One of my favourites, it had to be, we saw the image of Raheem Sterling there. What a weird year, I can say, 2020 has been. And I just love the caption that's on the Man City Instagram post. It's got June 17th, at Sterling7 celebrates his opener in front of an empty stand with the words Black Lives Matter, replacing players' names as football stands shoulder to shoulder with the global movement seeking racial equality. And I feel like after a weird year, as I keep on saying, 2020 has been football returning and footballers returning, as it says here, shoulder to shoulder with the movement that's currently happening to seek racial equality. It's a very special moment in history of everything, not just football.
Yeah, absolutely. An incredible photo that captures it as well. Another absolutely incredible thing that happened this year, and it happens every sort of Christmas from this wonderful club, is that we had a beautiful gift that the club made to the children of Manchester. So every child in East Manchester received a gift, and every child in the care system in Manchester received a present as well from Manchester City. And they were delivered to many of the primary schools by our heroes, and they were also wrapped by many of our heroes as well.
This is how we do it. I'm a master doing this. Right, here we go.
Well, this looks like it's the pro corner if you're already on to your second school. Thank you so much for coming and helping us this morning.
It's a massive effort from club, staff-wide, and also all of our network of partners and fans as well.
I've done the same for you.
Ready to go.
Some of the children, they don't get Christmas presents, so this will be their Christmas present for them. So we do really appreciate everything that you've done for us.
It's a big logistical kind of piece of work, but obviously it's the right thing to do, and you know, there's a real kind of team spirit and a togetherness that we know that we're supporting a lot of people in the Manchester area who really need it, and I think that's why everyone gets involved and really gets behind the cause.
Voila.
Does Sean Wright Phillips use this? Can you not leave me a straight edge?
Hello, Adam.
Hey!
Hey!
I think he's a bit shocked. It's Valentino!
Yeah!
Oh, wow.
Hello, guys.
Bill, it's a pleasure, mate, and I think you made my Christmas.
Why don't you come on over, Valerie? It's a present for you, so.
A big thank you to the City community for all these awesome gifts that you've provided for us.
What's your favorite player? Aguero, and then?
Absolutely incredible stuff there by everyone involved at Manchester City, from the staff to the players, everyone that gave their time. City in the community, they make a very special difference to young people here in Manchester. And I can say I spoke to one of the deputy head teachers at one of the primary schools, and she was just talking about how fabulous and fantastic it was that they were out in the community. And we know that special work they've done before. There was a few complaints about some wrapped presents. Sean, I think they were yours. I'm not going to lie. I think they were
well wrong, because mine was done to perfection.
No, it was incredible though, wasn't it, to see, and everyone did get involved, including yourself.
Yeah, listen, every nook and cranny of the club got involved. I think it's absolutely tremendous. I like the saying, put up or shut up, and Man City have definitely put up, you know, hidden houses and families and kids that are in need of these things. And for me, it's absolutely brilliant. And this is another one of the reasons why we love this club.
Yeah, we're very, very proud of City in the community, and you've done a lot of work with them in the past, Paul.
Yeah, fantastic. And, you know, Mike Green and his team there, they never cease to amaze you. You know, a lot of the work that they do doesn't really get the notice or the profile that it does do. So to see this happen, you know, what is it, 45,000 kids, every school in East Manchester, every kid that's in foster care to receive a present, and it's heartbreaking to think that kids don't receive presents at this time, but for this to happen, it would have made their day, and yet again, fantastic by the football club.
It really, really is. Right, you might be able to hear, I'm not sure if you can at home, but we can hear the teams are being read out. So we're 10 minutes away from kick-off. Manchester City taking on Newcastle on Boxing Day, all right. So I think we should talk about predictions a little bit here, because it's a big one. It's Boxing Day. Shaun, you're normally confident with your predictions. And yeah. I'm feeling like it. I'm feeling the confidence of goals today, all right? So what are you giving us today then, Shaun? What kind of predictions?
4-0, that's it.
There we go. You've had a telling off for time of Paul before, and now you're not going to say anything.
Over to you, Paul.
Well, I'll go better. I'll go 5-0. Really confident tonight, yeah. Come on, City.
Kyle, you confident?
I am confident. I'm going to say 3-1 Manchester City. I like to put the one on the other side, just in case. I can always be wrong. I'd like to be wrong. I don't mind 4 or 5-0, but I'll say 3-1. Nat, what are you going for?
I'm taking 3-0, but I hope Shaun or Paul is right.
We'll see what happens. Right, you guys at home, we want you to get involved as well. You can send us your predictions, or you can get involved with our Mystery Blue. Make sure you use that hashtag WNRH right there. Okay, you can tweet your guess. Okay, so who do you think this is right here? Okay, you're looking at it, you're thinking, who could that be? Look at the kit, the burgundy kit. Who played in that kit right there? What is that on the arm? Was that possibly some wrist tape? Who knows? Get in touch. Let us know your thoughts on that one, all right? WNRH, all right? We can see it.
So it's that maroon shirt that we had. Can anyone remember the year that was?
Oh,
I'm going to... A few years ago? No.
I can't. 2000 and...
I've got it.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah, I've got the shirt.
Oh, you know, you've got the shirt. You can't remember what year it was right there. I'm not sure.
Is that 2008 or 9?
I was going to say that, but I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I want you guys to write your predictions down, okay? Timestamp them. Don't want no cheating.
No clue to that.
No clue, and I'm usually all right with this as well.
Yeah. Have you got any clues, Shaun?
Yes, you know, I'm always got a clue, and I'm always wrong. I have. You let me know when you want me to reveal, and I'll let you know.
Okay, I like the way. Turn it around on us right there. Okay, we can see it again. I think we can. Yes, we can. WNRH. Make sure you use that hashtag right there. Who do you think that one is?
I just think every one of them's right. Gareth Barry. I've said Gareth Barry for the last 3.
Right off the end. That's who I think it is, personally.
I mean, it could be.
And I've never got him right.
Yeah, that is very true. Don't listen to Shaun. Whatever you do, do not listen to Shaun Goater right there. Make sure you use that hashtag, all right, WNRH. We want to see from you. If you've got any special Christmas Day images, you've got some new shirts as well. You've got a new TV that you're watching us on right now. Take a picture, all right? We'll all smile for you. And send that in, all right? WNRH right there.
So we're just a few more minutes now until kick-off. A little bit of a warning for you. The weather here in Manchester, it's horrific right now. There is a storm for anyone that's not currently in the UK, and we know that we do have many, many international people watching. Hello to you all. Here just now in the UK, there is a storm that is raging across the country, and it looks like that storm is coming down right on the Etihad Stadium. The wind inside the stadium just now is horrendous, and the rain is really really, really thumping down. So I'm just giving everybody a little pre-warning here that we have seen situations where the weather's been so bad that we cannot play a game of football here.
Mönchengladbach, was it?
Yes.
Borussia Mönchengladbach, where we were here. I think we were actually in the control room when we got the big answer to say the game was off and the fans had to go home.
We'd started working, hadn't we, on City Square? Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It was really bad. So we will keep you updated. If it looks like there's going to be any signs that this game is in danger, we will let you know first.
I've got to ask the question, used to, worst weather you've ever played in. Not watched, because, Paul, I know you were watching the game today and you said that you were still defrosted.
Yes,
but for you...
worst weather that I played in. I think we played... It was a game that got cancelled at Main Road with the rain. I think it was Ipswich in the Cup, and I only remember that because I scored a scissors kick.
Oh, did you?
And it didn't count. Get wiped off the records completely.
Oh, no, one less goal. A scissor kick as well?
That was a double whammy for me, that was, yeah. But the pitch was completely waterlogged, so...
I mean, do you get scenes like this, Sean, in Bermuda? No?
No,
don't get that.
If it's sprinkling games off in Bermuda, we're used to warm weather. I remember us playing a game at Wigan, though, and it was pouring it down. Pitch wasn't the greatest. I'm pretty sure you had scored in that game as well. We won the game, but I can't remember what the score was. But I remember it being torrential. The rain, it was ridiculous.
Hey, look, I managed at Oldham. So that was the coldest place you've ever been at a football match in your life.
No, I'll raise you. Middlesbrough away is the coldest place I've ever been. In terms of your preparation for a game, when we're seeing the weather this bad, the wind is picking up, the water's coming down, so obviously the pitch is going to start to get more and more wet. How would your preparation change in these last few minutes now? Is anything different being said?
Not really. The one thing that always used to get said to us that I would say to my players is don't use the weather as an excuse. You know, and especially now with the pitches. I mean, the Mönchengladbach game, I think it was the weather outside the ground more than anything else. You know, because the surface water was on the pitch. The pitches are that good, and good old Lee, the groundsman, is fantastic at his job. I usually give him some sticks, so that's a nice little thumbs up.
Lee Jackson will love that little shout out. Jacko.
He will indeed. I bet he's panicking right now, running around, testing the grass and everything. But Sean, these players here, you can't use the weather as an excuse. There's 90 minutes of football, hopefully, to play, and they're just going to have to go out there and play the game no matter what.
In fact, they'll thrive in this because they'll like the fact that the ball could zip around, it could move around. Hopefully it doesn't get too much where it will hold up. And again, Jackson doing, the great work he does on the pitch. I've seen some serious rain on this pitch, and it just drained in the space of sort of 15 minutes. And we've had nowhere near the sort of rain that I've seen. So again, the players will be up for this. When we played, we had one jersey, and you'd be soaked, and you'd have to go back out the second half. The boys have a second jersey. They got the thermals, thermal tops and everything. So they go back out warm and ready for the second half. So these players got everything, all the tools to prepare well for this game.
So no worry about the players, no worry about the pitch, but we'll let you know if there's any danger of this weather ruining this game. So thank you very much for joining us for We're Not Really Here. We'll all be back at half time. We'll be giving our analysis, and hopefully we might be already talking about a few goals.
Yeah, definitely. You said 4-0, you said 5-0, 3-1, 3-0 was it that you said?
Yeah, I don't believe that. I just want it to be different.
100% chance of rain. We definitely know that. Well, one man that will be nice and warm will be Pep in his very nice Puma jacket that looks very warm. That we might need one as well at some point.
Yes.
Just
Kyle
throw that
and
out
I
there.
adore that jacket. We think it is a really wonderful jacket, Puma. Congratulations on an excellent piece
Have
of
you not got
apparel.
one yet?
Not yet. No. Santa did not bring me one. That.
Lovely. But yes, join us back at half time and we will all be here live. Now, at this time of year as well, we do like to take a little bit of a moment to remember those associated with the club who have passed away in the last 12 months. And we do that with a minute's silence. We also like to take a moment to remember our own loved ones who are no longer with us.
At this time of year, we take a moment to remember those associated with the club who have passed away in the last 12 months with a minute's silence. We also like to take a moment to remember our own loved ones who are no longer with us. On behalf of our visitors today, Newcastle United, we remember Tommy Robson, Dennis Lawton, Malcolm Scott, Ken Pryor, Jack Charlton, and former Newcastle United and Manchester City coach Peter Bonetti. The Manchester City family reaches far and wide, and tonight we remember those who have sadly passed away. Jeremy Whiston, Jimmy Conway, Alf Wood, Michael Robinson, Dave Bacuzzi, David Davidson, and Glyn Pardo. There will now be a minute's silence, started and stopped by the referee's whistle.
So the players have taken the knee and the kick-off is about to get going. Indeed it does. Newcastle get the game underway, but there are many incentives.